You're not going to believe what's happening in New Jersey right now. The so-called safe blue state that Joe Biden carried by 16 points is in full-blown political meltdown. What was supposed to be an easy Democrat hold has turned into a statewide red rebellion. And the numbers pouring in tonight, they are shaking the entire establishment. Mail-in ballots exploding. And for the first time in modern New Jersey history, they're breaking Republican. That's right, guys. The experts are completely stunned. The media is silent, and Democrats, they're panicking. Reports are flying in from Passaic to Camden of overwhelmed polling stations, frantic last-minute legal filings, and whispers that federal monitors are being requested because the GOP turnout is just that big. Now, folks, this isn't just another election update. This is a political earthquake. President Trump's leadership has reignited the base, and right now, even the bluest states are trembling. So what's unfolding tonight might actually prove that this movement is not just alive, but it's growing and it's unstoppable. So stick with me, guys, because by the end of today's video, you're going to understand exactly why New Jersey just became the biggest warning shot that the Democrats have faced since election night back in 2016. Hit the like button and subscribe. Folks, this is New Jersey's Red Awakening. And trust me, you won't believe what's coming next. So, of course, it is November 2025, and the political world just got turned upside down. New Jersey, this is a state that the Democrats once bragged that they would never lose. Well, it's now ground zero for a full-blown red uprising. The same state that Joe Biden carried by 16 points is all of a sudden in play, and the establishment just can't explain it. Early returns are pouring in, and Jack Ciattarelli is outperforming every single forecast, shocking analysts who swore that this would never happen. Well, the twist, the surge isn't just at the polls. It's at the mail. It's in the mail. It's Republican mail-in ballots have skyrocketed, completely flipping the Democrat advantage that used to be unstoppable. County clerks are reporting record GOP participation, and the old political math just broke in half. So you can feel it right now. There is a shift in the air that the media never saw coming. In fact, they laughed when President Trump said blue states would turn red once America started winning again. Well, look around, folks. Prices are down, jobs are up, and the working class is roaring back. President Trump's America saw this coming. He predicted this. Drop a yes if you remember President Trump predicting this. The media didn't, though. And so this is what's happening in New Jersey tonight. This is what has every Democrat strategist in complete panic mode. Now, here's what's blowing minds tonight. It's the data. In 2021, Democrats led early voting in New Jersey by 37%. They thought that they would lock in the victory months ahead of Election Day. But this time, well, let's just say that that lead has crashed to just 22%. And the GOP, well, they have exploded their mail-in numbers by 133% since the last cycle. This is unheard of, folks. This is historic. In fact, history in the making. This isn't some top-down party maneuver. This is grassroots America taking its state back. You got parents, cops, firefighters, truckers, nurses, the people who actually keep this country running. Well, they're standing up and they're rising together and they're saying, look, they're saying enough. Now, you see, this isn't just a red wave on paper. This is a cultural revolt. This is symbolism if you can feel it, okay? Working class families standing shoulder to shoulder, determined to rebuild their state the way that President Trump rebuilt the economy, through grit, pride, and common sense. And so when a political tide rises this fast, this suddenly, well, it only means one thing. Something massive is breaking loose under the surface. Now, the question is, will the establishment stop it, or will New Jersey make history tonight? So if this year has taught us anything, it's that the economy can change overnight. Stocks swing, banks fail, the Fed reacts. But here's the big question. How much of your future is tied to a system that you can't control? Now, that's exactly why I partner with Noble Gold Investments, because they help people take back control, not with promises, but with real tangible assets. They'll actually show you how to move part of your IRA or your 401k into physical gold and silver held in your name. When people see how simple it is, they always say the same thing. Well, that makes sense. And so this is why most people right now are calling Noble Gold Investments, or they're visiting RonYatesGold.com to download their free wealth protection kit. I left the link for you down below, totally free. And of course, that phone number again is 877-646-5347. Tell my friends over at Noble Gold that Ron says hello, because once you understand what's happening in the markets, doing nothing stops making sense. Now, the meltdown started early. The same mainstream networks that mocked Jack Ciattarelli as unelectable just a few weeks ago are now all of a sudden scrambling to rewrite their headlines. CNN, MSNBC, even the local New Jersey outlets are backpedaling faster than a politician caught on tape. Now, they can't hide it anymore. In fact, the polls are collapsing, and the race that they swore was over is suddenly neck and neck. I mean, even the betting markets are flipping red. Over on Kalshi and Poly Market, traders actually living in New Jersey are giving Ciattarelli an 86% chance of winning. Now, that's not wishful thinking. That is real money from real people who can actually feel the momentum on the ground. Now, remember this, back in 2021, Real Clear Politics said Democrat Phil Murphy was up by nearly 8 points. He squeaked by with less than 3. Now, the so-called experts, they have been wrong every single time because they're not really polling reality. They're polling propaganda. So what we're watching right now is the collapse of that illusion. The illusion that blue states are safe when they're not. The illusion that the people cannot rise up. This is what's dying tonight, live on their own network. So let's be honest, guys. The surge didn't come out of nowhere. This is the Trump effect. Plain and simple. President Donald J. Trump's comeback in 2025 has reignited the Republican spirit in states that the establishment long ago abandoned. People are seeing the results. Inflation is down. Gas prices are sane again. The border is secure. America feels like America again. That energy, that confidence, it's bleeding into New Jersey. In fact, you can feel it in the diners, in construction yards, in family kitchens. Folks who voted blue their whole lives, they're looking around and they're saying, you know what? My life was better under Trump. And this is why Ciattarelli's rise really matters. This is the New Jersey version of America First. Local pride, economic strength, and putting American families before politics. Because when people can actually afford groceries again, when their paychecks stretch a little bit further, when the news isn't just chaos every single night, night after night, they don't vote for disorder. They vote for competence. And this is what President Trump restored, and Ciattarelli represents that. This is not a campaign anymore. This is a movement. This is a working class awakening that is rolling through blue America one county at a time. So nowhere is this red awakening clearer than Passaic County. This is the heart of what used to be the safe Democrat territory. Now, for years, Passaic, it was the model of machine politics. Union buses, pre-filled mail-ins, and election night celebrations before the votes were even counted. Not this time, though. This time, the ground game flipped. Rural towns, suburban neighborhoods, even parts of Patterson. They're reporting record Republican turnout. In fact, you heard that right, guys. Record Republican turnout in North Jersey. And what's the Democrat response? Panic. They're calling for federal monitors to oversee ballot counting. Now think about that for a second, okay? A party that's claimed every election is safe and secure is now begging Washington to intervene in their own backyard. Why? Because they know what's coming. If Passaic County goes red, even slightly, it's over. Now, that's not fear anymore. That's clearly desperation. The same insiders who laughed at the idea of Ciattarelli surge are now whispering behind closed doors, trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding. Well, unfortunately for them, it's too late. The people of Passaic are awake, and once you wake up, you don't go back to sleep. Now, this fight in New Jersey isn't just political, it is spiritual. It's the people versus the machine. Democrats are running the same old playbook, bloated unions, ballot collection, celebrity endorsements, and billion-dollar media spend. We've all seen this playbook many, many times. But they're learning something that's painful today. You can't ballot harvest energy. And the GOP right now, it's overflowing with it. Now, Ciattarelli's campaign didn't rely on elite consultants or some corporate ad buys. It was powered by everyday patriots, volunteers knocking on doors, organizing church meetups, and waving flags on overpasses. These, my friends, are Americans who work 8-10-hour shifts and still find time to fight for their future. Now, that's the difference. That is why the numbers are shifting. Meanwhile, Democrats are stuck in the past. They're pushing this narrative that people stopped believing years ago. They're realizing too late that no amount of Hollywood cameos can compete with conviction. The GOP ground game is real, it's organic, and it's spreading county by county. The machine still has money, sure, but the people have momentum. And in politics, When the people and momentum align, the establishment doesn't have a chance. Now, confusion is expensive, and Medicare is one of the most confusing systems out there. Can I get an amen to that, right? This is why I partner with Chapter, folks. They cut through the noise and they give you Medicare clarity in plain English. Now, one of our viewers said, I finally understood my Medicare plan after Chapter explained it to me. So let me ask, do you want to stay confused? Or do you want to join the majority who already found clarity? Now, most people, they're calling the phone number right there at the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron right now. And that phone number again is 909-563-8279. Oh, and take it from one of our own viewers. This one was from John W. He said, thanks, Ron. Chapter got me the same plan for half of what I would have paid if I had stayed with my old insurance company. Now, that is the power of having experts on your side. This is exactly why I partner with Chapter and why they are the best. So, in the middle of all this chaos, one moment from the campaign trail stopped everyone cold. Jack Ciattarelli was out meeting voters when his son, an army officer stationed in Kuwait, flew home and surprised him on election day. Can you imagine that? The surprise on his face? I mean, you could see the shock on his face. You could see the pride. That was more than a reunion, folks. That was a snapshot of what this entire movement is really about. It's about faith, family, and freedom, right? And so, because when you strip away the noise, this is what's driving this red surge in New Jersey. Parents who want to protect their kids, workers who want dignity again, veterans who want a country that's worth defending. It's not about party. It's about principle. President Trump, he said it best. America doesn't need more politicians. It needs more patriots. And this is exactly who's rising up right now. In fact, the same spirit that built this country is roaring back to life. County by county, church by church, family by family. When families fight for freedom together, they win together. That's the energy that Democrats can't fake because it's real and it's righteous. So let's be clear. The Democrats, they know that they're in trouble. Mikey Sherrill, who once held a double-digit lead, he's now stuck below 50%. And every strategist in Washington already knows what that means. When an incumbent can't even hit 50, oh, they're finished. So what is the DNC doing? Well, they're throwing money at the problem like they always do. Millions of dollars pouring into New Jersey at the very last minute, begging voters to hold the line. They even dragged out Obama to rally crowds that didn't show up. Barack Obama, guys. And you can feel the panic in their messaging. The sudden shift from, oh, we got this to every vote counts. You see the difference, right? When have we heard that before, right? Anybody thinking Kamala Harris? If they were really confident, they wouldn't be this loud. The truth is, the Democrat brand is collapsing in real time. They went from being the party of the people to being the party of the bureaucrats, the billionaires, and the bad ideas. It's like Bud Light politics. They mock their own base, and now they're paying for it. Like, the people who once cheered them are gone, replaced by angry independents and defecting Democrats who've had enough. The blue stronghold isn't strong anymore. It's cracking, and they already know it. So what's happening in New Jersey isn't isolated. It's part of a tectonic shift across the entire Northeast. Pennsylvania, New York's Hudson Valley, and even parts of Connecticut are starting to show that same pattern. Middle class, working class, and immigrant voters walking away from the left, and they're embracing common sense again. In fact, this is President Trump's second wave of realignment. The movement that started in 2016, that same spirit that flipped blue-collar Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, has now crossed the Hudson. The forgotten voter has finally found a voice, and it's shouting red. Latino voters, Asian voters, suburban parents, groups the Democrats once claimed as permanent property, well, they're now voting Republican in record numbers because people are done being told what to think. They're done being gaslit by the same media that swore inflation was temporary and that the border was secure. The shift is here now, and it's permanent. Now, Democrats, they built their house on cultural resentment. President Trump built his on results, and the results don't lie. From coast to coast, Americans are realigning with the truth, and it's painting the map redder and redder every single day. Now, regardless of what the final vote count actually shows, one thing is crystal clear. New Jersey is no longer a safe blue state. That myth died tonight. In fact, the Democrat firewall cracked, and millions of Americans just saw what's actually possible when everyday Americans and when everyday people just stand up to the machine. This race, it proves something deeper than polls or pundits ever could. The Trump era didn't end in 2020. It evolved. It matured. And now it's rewriting the political map in real time because if New Jersey the bluest of blue can rise up, then pretty much any state can rise up. So what happens next? Well, the same thing that has been happening since 2016. Americans are waking up. They're realizing that faith, family, freedom, and hard work are worth fighting for. And that particular fight doesn't stop when the ballots are counted. It starts again the very next morning. This isn't the end of the story, folks. This is the beginning of the American comeback. And when the dust settles, historians are going to look back at November 2025 and they're going to say, you know what? That was the night that New Jersey reminded the world what happens when the people take their power back.